BKs and ZK Marketer Talk.
ZK Industry Breakthroughs.
By now, most of you are already familiar with ZK, so instead of covering old topic areas, let's jump straight into zkVMs.
Yeah, definitely. I want to start with two projects. Okay, so the first one is RISC-0. I think they were first to market with their RISC-V zkVM, and this really injected a huge avalanche of innovation in the industry. Many teams started developing their own zkVMs, and this led to kind of an arms race for the fastest, cheapest zkVM.
Ethereum even built a website to encourage it.
And then the second one I want to talk about is Succincts SP1 zkVM. And the reason I want to talk about theirs is because SP1 actually was a big unlock for the Mina ecosystem. Because by running an Ethereum-like client inside of SP1, you can get an execution state root of Ethereum, which is then...
Oh, don't forget proof conversion.
You could store that into a smart contract on Mina. And I'm sure I'm missing a lot of steps, but essentially you combine that with sophisticated locking mechanisms, and this gives you a state bridge from Ethereum to Mina. And that's really cool.
Yeah, perhaps I'll just take a step back quickly to explain zkVMs in case people aren't 100% sure. So there's like two real main ways of building ZK. There's like the traditional route of like writing your own circuits, which you can use, which is, where you can use O1JS today, for example. The benefits of this is that you can make your own refinements and optimizations, but like the downside of this is it requires a lot more like time and expertise to build. So yeah, this is where like zkVMs come in, where you don't maybe necessarily need these like minute customizations and optimizations, you can use a zkVM. A zkVM basically allows you to write in normal code using a variety of different languages and then, prove that code. And this dramatically speeds up development times. It reduces the need for like cryptography expertise and reduces costs. The downside to zkVMs is that, you need way more powerful hardware to run this. So, you can't generate proofs locally on your devices as you do with like zk DSLs. So that's why you need to use solutions like prover networks. But if you're using a prover network, then, you can't have like private inputs. Because you actually have to send your data to the network to be proven. So if you really want like off-chain privacy, then going down the zk framework, using something like O1JS is still much more preferable. So now we've introduced like zkVMs, maybe we can talk about like some wider infra in the space. Maybe just starting with Aligned, Brandon, if you could.
Yeah. Aligned is really cool because they've provided infrastructure that can basically efficiently verify many different kinds of ZK proofs on Ethereum. Okay. So, and Aligned has done a lot of work to make the Mina proof, so the proof of Mina's blockchain, compatible with their infrastructure and therefore basically able to resolve Mina state onto Ethereum. And that creates a bridge from Mina to Ethereum. So Nori uses SP1 to bridge Ethereum to Mina, and Aligned uses their network and their infrastructure to bridge Mina state to Ethereum. So with both of them, you have both directions of the bridge, and Nori, which is taking on this project of operating both sides of the bridge. So the one that they created and the one that Aligned has made possible. Nori will be operating both sides of that. I think it's really important to note that Mina's blockchain is set up in a very specific way that makes this possible. Because Mina's blockchain state is one single recursive ZK proof, we can verify the whole Mina network, essentially acting like a full node for Mina in the Aligned infrastructure. So Ethereum can be a full node on the Mina network effectively, which is insane. So all this ZK infrastructure is really cool. Like the Aligned stuff helps us go this way. SP1 can help bring Ethereum state to Mina. And, I guess there's one more thing I want to say on this. The project that originally made this possible was a collaboration between Celestia, Mina, and Geometry Labs. And Geometry did the really hard work of making an adapter layer between the SP1, specifically like the blob stream from Celestia, but it involved having SP1 compatibility with Mina's proof system. And Nori has been able to build on top of that to make the the state bridge from Ethereum to Mina.
What we're trying to convey here is you can see like the zk industry working together can really help like interop and composability across the whole industry. There are so many interesting projects at the minute, and it is really unlocking different use cases and unlocking builders across ecosystems. With zk, you're not just locked into a single ecosystem. And yeah, I also just want to, as a marketer myself, want to give a shout out to Succinct. I think they're doing amazing work at the minute. I love their style. I think I'd love to adopt much more playful, more graphical style to the Mina ecosystem. But yeah, perhaps just like looking outside of crypto as well. I'd love to just talk about like zk adoption, in Web2 and the traditional industries, because it's really like starting to hot up there as well.
Yeah, definitely. I guess the beginning of zk till now, it's mostly been used for infrastructure, and we were still early on finding like product market fit directly, on top of this infrastructure and on top of zk technology more directly. And a trend that's starting, which is really healthy for the industry, is for projects to basically start having better PMF that take advantage of zk technology, and that started within crypto, but it's actually even expanding beyond the Web3 space. The European Union, Google, Microsoft, all are building zk solutions. I guess within Web3, we have zk email, zk passport, zk ID. With the advent of AI getting more and more powerful, there's tons of ways in which zk can help secure things, give more guarantees, make sure that things in our lives are authentic. I'm really excited to see how zk can kind of be added into this world that's slowly being enveloped by AI in order to make all of our lives better.